What's known as cancel culture is sparking debates over whether it helps usher in change or simply threatens freedom of expression. The newest episode for our CBSN Originals Speaking Frankly series dives into these complex conversations. Here's a preview.
I think I was 33 years old when I landed my first CFO job. So I had my dream job, basically. I was there, I made it. I'd just been awarded $1 million of stock in the company, and it was about 2 weeks after being awarded that stock grant, I did the video protest.
You know why I'm getting the free water, right?
I do not.
Because Chick-fil-A is a hateful corporation.
The next day, I go into the office, and the receptionist said, "Adam, what did you do?"
This is Adam Smith before a drive-through encounter that would change his life.
Why take it out on the poor employees just working the drive-in?
It was a year after the Chick-fil-A video, after having gotten job offers and rejections, is when my mind started playing tricks and said, this is going to be like this forever. I looked at my life insurance policy. It was $1 million life insurance policy. It had no exclusions for suicide. And I started contemplating that for a few weeks.
What kept you from taking that drastic step?
I knew that it would get better. I just didn't know how. And I knew my children needed me. They needed me alive. They needed me well, put back together.
For more on this, Adam Yamaguchi joins me now. He's the executive producer of CBSN Originals. Hi there, Adam. I mean, just that clip is so incredibly powerful, and this topic is really coming up more and more. First of all, for people who aren't familiar with this, can you explain what does it mean to be quote-unquote canceled?
Sure. Cancel culture is essentially the withdrawal of public support for a person. And, in many ways, cancel culture has existed for a long time. You think back, people have been banished or shunned by society for operating outside the social norms of a society for as long as we can remember. What we're seeing now, though, is an acceleration of that, thanks in large part to social media. People now have the power. Ordinary people who didn't have a voice before now have the ability to take their grievances online, to call out the rich, the powerful, the famous, and to hold them accountable for their words and their actions in the past. And oftentimes this sort of falls within the realm of insensitive comments or offensive comments in the areas of race, gender, culture. There may be attacks on certain communities, such as the LGBTQ community. And so what we're seeing, though, now is a little bit of an evolution as we saw cancel culture really take root during the Me Too movement. And certainly we're seeing a lot of this play out again in this moment of reckoning that society is facing on race and culture. We're seeing companies, organizations, people being canceled for being on the wrong side of progress. But there are also many people like Adam that we just saw the clip of they're ordinary people who don't have the megaphone, who don't have the platform, who don't have the financial wherewithal to withstand the financial hit that oftentimes comes with cancel culture. And the consequences are you lose your job, you are distanced by those around you, and your well-being may very well hang in the balance.
And I wonder, Adam, there seems to be this sort of division when it comes to how people view this. Why does that exist? Why are people so divided on it?
Yeah, cancel culture, as I mentioned earlier, is largely driven by values. And when we talk about values, that very easily seeps into politics. Those who drive cancel culture are generally people who are looking for progress as a society. The idea is to try to create a society in which racism, sexism, all sorts of phobias are diminished, and so it just naturally becomes a politicized issue. Those who are opposed to cancel culture say, look, this environment that we live in today it's far too easy to offend anybody for anything. We can't take jokes anymore. And so there's really not a whole lot that anyone can say without being lambasted by society now. And so, and the other thing that people who are opposed to cancel culture say is people are being held to account for comments that they made 10, 20 years ago when those very comments were seen by society as being appropriate or not unacceptable. But we're being held to standards, of today for things that we said in the past, and it's just not fair.
It's so interesting in just conversations that I've had with folks about this. It's fascinating to see that you have people on opposite sides of the political spectrum who actually sort of agree sometimes on this notion of there's too much political correctness, and they don't necessarily agree with cancel culture, which is just a fascinating dynamic. I mean, it clearly strikes a nerve. I know more broadly, Adam, CBSN Originals is focusing on culture wars this season. Tell us more about that.
Sure. And I would say that cancel culture certainly is a part of the culture wars that we are experiencing. We decided to focus on this broad topic because we're less than 3 months from a presidential election. And I think that the divisions that we see across this country are at a level that we have not seen in a generation. Certainly in my lifetime, I have not seen us as split as we are. Cancel culture, culture wars are all a part of that. And so we're really asking the question, does the conflict over words and ideas lead us to making societal progress on the issues that bedevil us? Or are we simply papering over those real issues and distracting ourselves with words that just make us feel good and coddle us? And so we're looking at cancel culture as well as, I should say, the broader topic of culture wars through the lens of a few different things. Next week, we'll be looking at the idea of fat shaming and whether fat shaming or the celebration, rather, I should say, of all body sizes is a good thing that we should be viewing as progress, or is it actually distracting us from health issues that may inflict those, that are considered obese? We're also looking at online censorship. Who gets censored online? For what reason? Both sides of the political spectrum will oftentimes claim that their side is unduly and unfairly targeted by social media censors.
All right. Well, I mean, really compelling topics. I can't wait to watch, especially your latest one here, the cancel culture documentary. Adam Yamaguchi. Adam, great to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you as well, Elaine.